throughout the season of matches in which they really front up. Tom Grant, the referee here today. Liam Rush is the video referee. This has to be a day. This has to be a day when Castleford front up. Otherwise, it could be an embarrassing scoreline.
Well, they need to channel round one vibes, Dave, because they really brought it to Hull KR in round one of Super League 2025. They competed so hard and took chances early in the game. They're going to have to do that here this afternoon.
Well, the usual anthem rings around the stadium, and right from the off, there was a potential mistake there. It's bounced off Lewis Senior, and the referees decided that was a handling error. So from the kickoff, Lewis Senior scratching his head about this, but well, it just bounces off the shoulder and travels forward.
Well, he's got the sun directly in his eyes, and there's a strong breeze right to left, really pushing that kick off Mikey Lewis. Looked like it was going to drop short, Dave. Senior just got it all wrong. What a gift here for Hull KR.
Well, they scored in the very first minute, I think, didn't they, against Salford last week? With their very first touch of the ball. Can Hulkingston Rovers produce something similar here? Well, they're having a go. Hicko's tried the flick. There is hands all over that. It'll be another set, but the ball rolls out of play. The referee rules the knock-on. So two handling errors already from Cass.
Yeah, but this is exceptional footwork from Hicko. He loves getting that ball in one hand, Dave, and just flicking. Tom Davies knows that he's in if he gets the flick away. It's actually a big read from Senior. 2 errors from him, but he won't mind that one at all.
Well, here they go again. Set the scrum right in the middle of the field, 10 metres away from where they want to be, and an intent to start the day rocking and rolling. They're going to the same side, and this time Moore will put the footwork on himself to try and break that Castleford defence. But there's plenty of there in cover. It's shuffled back again to Minchella. Here comes Sue with a big drive, and it's his name you can hear echoing around this Sewell Group Craven Park. McAlorum pulls it out and hammered in by Whitbread on this time. Castleford's defence being tested right on their own line in these opening moments. McAlorum sets himself and little double pump, but they were waiting for Minchella. There wasn't much disguised about that, but they'll have another couple of plays. Here's Lewis, drops back for Sue again, and Sue with that hard intent, but Cass have survived 5. Can they survive the last? Lewis's kick, and they have. It is dropped on by Joe Stimpson, and hats off to Cass. We talked about attitude, and apart from the 2 handling errors, there was plenty of attitude all over that.
Yeah, real resilience, wasn't it? Simbican just putting pressure on Mikey Lewis. It's imperative that you put pressure on Mikey Lewis, especially when he's close to the line there. He's a run threat, kick threat. He passed the balls incredibly well also. So great pressure from Castleford and good resilience. You're right, Dave. 2 errors, not ideal, but you have to defend your errors.
Well, there's a penalty as well, high on Amon. So Castleford, well, for all the fact that they gifted possession twice, will actually have drawn a lot out of this opening 3 minutes, won't they?
Yeah, they'll take some heart from how they've defended, and Amon just drawing a penalty. It's just a lazy challenge from Reece Martin. Just didn't keep his feet moving. That left arm of his just straight up, but they'll be delighted, Castleford. Firstly,
well, it's a brave attempt by Joe Purchase to try and keep it in play, but
thought he kept it in.
I think he was already out of play when he caught it.
Yeah, they'll take a lot of heart from how they've defended there, but the thing about Hull KR is they're going to have to do that for 80 minutes against them. You know, Chris Chester and Castleford have got some decisions to make, haven't they, about who coaches them?
It felt a bit like a throwback, that 2014 to 16. He was a coach here, wasn't he? It felt like a throwback to him being in that coach's box as the home coach.
He went to the wrong room.
Here's Rob Westerman, just along the line to Amon, and it is a forward pass. The crowd called for it. The touch judge on the near side, I think, has helped out the referee and given it. And Hull KR should get it back again.
Yeah, it's Westerman and Amon just getting the timing wrong. It's slightly forward. Amon's overran Westerman there. He's just looking at Joe Westerman, right? He's a ball playing loose forward. The alarming thing for Chris Chester is where he has to defend now. On this scrum, Joe Westerman, big guy, aging legs, is going to have to deal with Mikey Lewis and the speed and the threat of him. Defending 3 in from the wing, which is an incredibly difficult position to defend.
So the Robins back in at possession and a chance to try and put some pressure back on their opponent's line, but these early carries important in terms of that, if they can find themselves downfield. Hicko with a spin and a hit and a carry that's occupying the minds of 3 Castleford defenders. He is just inside that half. McAlorum to Sue, and here comes Martin. Martin just on his knees, another yard or two gained. McAlorum and now Minchella, and here comes Lewis on for Hadley, who's again well dealt with by this Castleford defensive line. Minchella trying to do it himself here, but he's found a position. 15 or so out, but this is the last play, and Mikey Lewis will put the kick up. How good is the chase? Burgess was there, but my goodness, Josh Sim was always going to get that.
He climbed on top of Joe Burgess, didn't he? He literally rode his shoulder like a rodeo bull. Gets up high, stays up there. Have to be careful in the modern game. Lewis Murphy got yellow carded for that at Magic Weekend, but excellent play from Josh Sim, and tidy from Castleford, and really patient as well from Hull KR, Dave.
So Cass looking to just get themselves out of a little stick of bother here again, deep inside their own half, but travelling well. Kane back on that left flank. OKR have reduced the yardage. Oh, and there's an injury here, and this is something Cass cannot afford. Alex Mellor just looking very, very groggy.
Yeah, if there's any positives this year for Castleford Tigers, Alex Mellor's been one of them. Consistent in a team that's lacked consistency. Carries the ball so well. He just digs under the ruck there between Morg and Whitbread. Whitbread just probably catches him. Mellor's falling, absolutely falling to the ground. There's not a lot Jai Whitbread can do really to get out the way of that. He's been so good, Mellor, for Castleford, as I said, in a side that really hasn't managed to get it together, that's lost the coach, and that's probably going to be dismantled over the coming weeks and months, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're going to be hearing, I'm sure, at the end of the game from Chris Chester, so we'll put it to him about what the latest is on the coach for next year. He's obviously, well, it's a penalty because Mellor's stayed down. The video referee gets to have a look, and the instruction to the referee is it is a penalty. So another chance for Cass to clear their lines, and Dejanassi will stick it out there, and a set that starts for the Tigers inside the Robins half here, so more encouragement for the visitors.
Yeah, just two penalties, two high shots from Hull KR, just giving Castleford oxygen and giving them field position. We spoke about the process, Hull KR being ruthless and patient at one end, just need to tidy that discipline up.
Ramon is down and smothered, and Rob to Westerman. Here comes George Lawler. He's managed to eat out another couple of yards or so. Rob up there again. Westerman travelling to that left flank, and Amoni's not going to make too much progress again, but Cass are just building a bit of a position here with tackles still in the bag. Westerman pops it back to young Jensen Windley, who's come in from full-back. Full marks to him, by the way. He was supposed to be playing in the halves this week, but has had to fill in at full-back because of injuries. The kick rattles shins. It's picked up by Burgess, and there was a little bit of danger developing there, but Dejanassi got across to make the tackle.
Wasn't it a big tackle from RC? He just manages to ankle tap Burgess. There's nobody more dangerous in those situations. Once he gets up to full speed, nobody catches Joe Burgess. Great tackle, wasn't it? RC just reacting quicker than anybody else on the Castleford team. Big challenge.
And we know how devastating Burgess can be in at the clear, but not given the clear on that occasion. Martin again, rolling it in. McAlorum's taking a beady look around to decide which way he's going. It's to Minchella, and now Lewis and Hadley. But Hulkingston Rovers have reached the fifth with only one to go, so Morg is given the task of finding a decent kick. There's some back-pedaling going on here, and Windley, well, he went backwards, and the ball might have ended up in front of him, but the initial flight of the ball was backwards, and that's all the referee needs to worry about.
Yeah, consistent from Hull KR. What they're doing, Dave, is breaking it down, hitting leads a lot, turning people back under. Simple plays that, you know, we speak about them not having next week in mind. Well, they may have. Windley doesn't knock it on, deals with it. But these are the situations where Hull KR are generally quite ruthless.
This is his first appearance of the season, Jensen Windley. Not his debut. He had 5 outings last year, of course, for the Tigers, but he's still only 18 years of age. He doesn't turn, in fact, he turns 19 in about a week or so. So
promising talent, obviously a half-back, and he's just going to have to deal with the nuances of playing full-back, but he'll get to grips with it.
Arce's kick is a little scrappy, and Broadbent can return at pace, but well met. Stopped in his tracks. Stimson the man to do the job. And now Davis for Hull Kingston Rovers. Again building a little bit of pressure. Sunshine is out. It's a lovely day in this part of the world. As John says, there is a breeze blowing across the ground, but I don't think we've ever been here when there hasn't been a breeze blowing across the ground. In fact, we'll take breeze. It's usually a gale. The Robins just working their way forward as best they can. Broadbent back to Minchella. And an angled run on that occasion from Whitbread, who wants to get to his feet quickly here because it is the last play and they want to put it on as quickly as they can. Batchelor flicks it out, the ball goes free, Westerman drops on, and Castleford survive again. You know, nearly 10 minutes played. Again, this team that has been beset by injuries this week will again be encouraged by this.
Yeah, Hull KR again showing, just playing against the grain. Whitbread's carry just generates some ruck speed, and then Mikey Lewis gets to play off the back of it. It's the strategy here from Hull KR, but Castleford have just dealt with it, Dave. They've been connected. They've had some intent with how they've defended and just made some smart decisions in tricky situations. It's easy to get the read wrong defensively.
Another penalty as well.
Three.
And what this is doing, it's also building a bit of frustration on the terraces here, isn't it? Which just leaks back down to those Robins players.
Yeah, and they're all valid as well. There's two high tackles. Mikey Lewis just getting back involved in Simbican. It's a clear penalty. It's 3-0 on the penalty count to Castleford. And as important as it giving territory and possession to Castleford, it's just 10 minutes where they've not had any oxygen taken out the lungs. They've not been really made to work so hard here.
Well, talking to Chris Chester earlier today, and he was saying, you know, that they have every excuse in terms of players not being available. They have no excuse not to be connected and not to be showing the right attitude here. And just at the moment, I'm sure that he'll be pleased with what he's watching from his team, putting in a shift. Westerman, Arce's involved, and Windley also, and on the run goes Wood, and Wood pushes off the defender, and back on the inside, oh, just beyond Jensen Windley's grasp. I think it was forward anyway. But there you have it, Hull Kingston Rovers disturbed by that.
Well, if we go back 19 weeks to round one, Castleford really had joy on this right edge, attacking around Mikey Lewis. Mikey Lewis was aggressive, had a nibble there. It created an opportunity for Wood. He just couldn't take advantage of it. Alarm bells there that Mikey's maybe been drawn out the line once more by a sharp pass from Westerman. Windley's there, isn't he? Wood just needed to find that pass. But promising signs for Castleford with ball.
Seems like such a long time ago, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Wow. That was a gale and it was wet.
Yeah. And how close Castleford... I mean, ifs and buts, you know. Had Castleford sneaked it that day, would their season have been different?
Well, I just think it would have set them off in maybe a different course. I think maybe for Hull KR, they had two difficult games, didn't they? Wakefield and Cast to start and just scrape through them. It's such a good feeling when you do that, when you're not quite at your best. And they've certainly reached their best now, haven't they? Especially in the middle part of this season. A bit wobbly the last month or so, but the middle part of the season, they were unplayable.
This is Whitbread who's sorted. Yeah, that close one in February, but Castleford fans will not like to be reminded it was 48-0 for Hull KR back in June. And I think many coming here today would have expected something similar, but just at the moment, Cass are doing mighty fine. The kick from Lewis is over the head of Windley. Connected back in his in goal. He's going to take on that very straight and efficient line all on his own, and is in danger. Was it not for a bit of making weight by his own teammates? And that's been dragged back.
That's the process, Dave. The kick accurate and deep, and then the kick chase from Hull KR was flawless. It was such a flat line, everybody chasing, and then they put all of their energy into putting numbers into tackles like this, slowing it down, and then repeating that. It's so difficult to play against.
Windley again, just showing an aptitude. In fact, it's Mellor, isn't it, who's taken it another step or two closer to where they want to be. This is a moan. Last play, they're inside the 30, so it's going to take a special kick from Assi. Oh, just didn't know whether to stick or twist there. Broadbent decided in the end to backtrack and not fully commit to the catch on the full, which was probably wise. And he finds his team a position closer to the halfway line. Burgess bumping into Simbakin. Got his big body in the way. One-handed pickup. And Batchelor again, just crashing it forward and trying to eke out as much as he can. McAlorum stands and waits. One of the seasoned pros that were added to the roster for the start of this season, for the very reason of being involved at this business end of the season. No Jariah Hargraves today. He's being rested, but I'm pretty sure he might be back next week. There's a kick from Mikey Lewis, but Windley has read that well and takes to the ground underneath the chase of Davis.
Yeah, it was great anticipation from Windley. He just read the play from Mikey Lewis. Tom Davis flattened up on that right edge. Lewis with an accurate kick, but Windley read it well. But they're in a spot of bother here at Castleford.
Yeah, there's some pressure on, and Senior needs to try and blast a way through that rock face, but again, he's going to be held up, so 3 gone and 3 to go, and barely 12 metres from their own line. So hard work still to be done.
It was well read, wasn't it? Well read from Windley. Out of position for him, but reading that perfectly.
It's worth repeating as well that in the very last move of the very last training session, Fletcher Rooney got a hamstring injury, which we think might rule him out for the rest of the season now. And it was only at that point that Jensen Windley discovered he'd be playing at full back, so he's not trained that position all week.
Sometimes less prep's better. Just throw, you know, you can worry about things too much. He's not had a long time to worry about it. Just get out there and play. As an instinctive rugby player, you're just going to have to pick it up.
Well, Hulkingston Rovers again, and pressure counts, doesn't it? And they're just beginning to build again. Castleford going backwards at the moment. McAlorum spinning onto Minchella, and Sue on the flat ball, but can't get too much of a purchase on the back of that. It's Minchella, and again a short pass. They're working the middles hard here, aren't they, the Castleford defenders? Just trying to tire them if they can. Lewis sticking it high. Davis is on the chase. There's 2 big fellas out there, and it's Windley who comes up with it but can't get out of his own in-goal area. It's going to be a drop out underneath the sticks here.
Yeah, they're just contemplating a challenge, aren't they? Contemplating it, but no.
Yeah.
It was an accurate kick from Mikey Lewis. Tom Davis being the target. I saw in the NRL from the Roosters this morning. How important is it to have kick targets?
Oh, here we go. They are challenging it. Alex Mellor came across. So they're challenging the knock-on. So for the first time today, we're going to hear from Liam Rush, the video referee. Oh, let's just get an explanation of it.
On-field decision of a goal line dropout. They're claiming there's a knock-on from Tom Davis.
Well, there you heard it.
Tom Cook as well.
Okay, we have a captain's challenge from Castleford. They're challenging the ruling of a goal line dropout. They're alleging that there's a knock-on in the lead-up. So I've cleared the kick chase, so if we run through on this angle, see the ball coming to shot there. The ball hits Tom Davis's fingers and travels forward. I'll just check where that is. So he's in the field of play at the point it touches his fingers. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, it looks like a challenge that was well worth making, because instead of dropping out, they're going to get the ball back by the sounds of it. Yep, knock on. So the handover, as that was the last, and Cats have it back 10 from their own line.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. Just got to be careful in the game that those requests to challenge aren't just dragging on. We saw Wigan players looking at the screen last night. Just got to make sure those decisions are punchy enough where the players aren't getting a second look at it on the screen and then making a call.
Yeah, that was very straightforward, wasn't it? Very, very efficiently dealt with, and on we go again. Castleford, it's still 0-0. 17 minutes played. They've had a half opportunity. They arguably had the best opportunity of the game so far, Castleford.
But out of the 2 teams, Castleford are the only team that haven't made a defensive error yet. Hulk Arl, like them. Mikey Lewis drawn out the line once. It presented an opportunity for Castle's right edge. Flawless from Castleford thus far.
And again, it is hard work clearing their lines here. They're not going to be in an attacking position by any stretch of the imagination. In terms of the arm wrestle, you'd say Hull KR are winning it, and they get that ball back as well. And bouncing out of play might have done them a bit of favour here, Cass, because they got a chance to shape their defence.
Yeah, just get organised. I think for Castleford, there's two things to consider. They're coming out of the half against one of the most aggressive defensive teams in that part of the field, so they're not making a lot of yardage, and then they're kicking into a 15-20 mile-an-hour breeze. So those two things together mean it's really difficult for Castleford to get any territory in this game.
A what mile-an-hour breeze, did you say?
It was a rough approximation based on the wind turbines in the distance, Dave. That was like a 15 to 20.
You know, you'd have people believing you. Hull Kingston Rovers with Minchella. It's a step back inside from Martin, who keeps it alive. And now it's with Hiku. And now there's some space. And this fella can finish. Davis heading for the corner, but Castleford's defence responding superbly well. Davis up to play. Morg. And now Lewis. And here's Minchella. Head down and goes. Couple of plays left, though. McAlorum and Lewis. Lewis back, they're coming from deep, Broadbent times the pass, and here's Burgess to dive in the corner. Mikey Lewis has stayed down, and he looks in a bad way. But Hull Kingston Rovers have their try. It is Joe Burgess who plunged in at the corner, but there will be concern here.
Simbican's in trouble, Dave. Simbican is in trouble. It's a late, potentially high challenge on Mikey Lewis after he's passed the ball. Is unforgivable in many ways, but it's a try for Joe Burgess, and that's the first time I think we've seen Hull KR's attack move with real pace and real intent. Mikey Lewis carries it right into the teeth of the line. Simbican can't help but have a nibble. It's a potential shoulder charge, potentially late and potentially high, all things to consider. It's great from Mikey Lewis, though. He's tough. He can take it right into the teeth. Don't get a great look at it there. My live reaction was it was a poor challenge, but we can't see too much.
Well, he's still looking in a bit of discomfort, Mikey Lewis. And you know, given what's coming next week, and given the fact that Tyrone May will be missing because of suspension,
he's fine.
Oh, look, you reckon?
Mikey Lewis is absolutely fine. Trust me, he's took a big hit. He's a showman. He stayed down. Everyone knows it. He does this. Hollywood Mikey. He's tough. Look how tough he is. He played on with a bad shoulder. Simbican could be in trouble here, Dave. Weirdly.
Here we go, because before the kick, it's going to be a yellow card. We'll have a look at the referee here, because he's pulling out the yellow card. Simbican is going to be simbined. So a double blow from Cassie's point of view. Conceding a try and losing a player.
Yeah, and it was just the speed at which Mikey Lewis was moving. It cuts down your thinking time as a defender so much, and you've got to make big calls, and Simbican probably chose to be aggressive and shut him down when he maybe could have just paddled and waited for some more help. He's caught him late. There's a contact with the head after Mikey had passed the ball, so a clear yellow card there for me, Dave.
Well, I wonder whether we'll look back on that couple of moments as the point where the dam burst here today, or whether Cass can respond in a similar style to which they played in the opening 20 minutes. Morg's kick is dragged left, so it remains only 4-0 for Hull Kingston Rovers with 20 minutes played. Well, but a lot of talking points here.
Yeah, well, I said Cass hadn't made any defensive errors. Well, it was Josh Hudson on the right edge. He made an error for Peter Hiku. And then this is Simbican just choosing to be aggressive on a ball player that's passed the ball. And now if you get that wrong, there's consequences, and he's felt the wrath of the referee, and he's going to be in the bin for 10 minutes. It's such a tidy play, though, Dave. That's exactly what you want a defender to do. Square him up and come out the line. That's why Joe Westerman bites. That's why the try scored. Mikey knows he's going to have to take hits like that. He does it all the time, but it's fractionally wrong from Simbican, and that's why he's off.
Sue carries it in. McAlorum stands and waits. Here comes Davis. making decent progress. Broadbent, in fact, making decent progress. Whitbread will take it on again. Minchella just trying to find that little bit of a gap in the chain of defenders, but they link up again and bring him down. McAloran quick out of dummy half. Broadbent just holding him off. Wherever he's played, he's been impressive, hasn't he, Jack Broadbent?
Just couldn't get his catch right. He just caught it on his hip, and there was a chance for a pass.
Morg with the kick. Davis is chasing and gets there and spins, but loses the ball. And it gives Senior the chance to drop on it close to his own line.
Yeah, ominous signs for Castleford, because Hull KR are starting to flow now. It's a nice crossfield kick from Morg. Davis nearly comes up with it. But Hull KR in that set of 6, Dave, ran with more conviction than they have in the opening 21 minutes. It was a ferocious attacking set from them.
Well, they showed no mercy against Salford last week. They'll be hoping for something similar here. There is Jeremiah Simbakin on the naughty step for the next 8 minutes or so. And Kane Robb. And here's a moan. Trying to step away from those oncoming towards him, but Sue got him round the legs, and Minchella up high. And Assi inside the 20 when he lets that fly, but nowhere near the touchline, so that's all academic. Little slip from Broadbent, but still has the chance to bring it back very close to the halfway line.
Yeah, it's a great kick actually from Assi. We spoke about that breeze. He's kicked that fully 50 metres into the teeth of it. That being said, Hull KR catch on the full. Hull KR flood over the halfway line on play 2. That's been maybe the rhythm of the last 12 minutes, hasn't it?
Well, Jez Litton on the field as well in that dummy half roll, so that freshens things up as well in terms of what happens from the start of each play. Minchella, Hadley rather.
Again, back against the grain, everything back under, testing Cass's middle out.
Last play, Litton. This is Minchella. A reach by Lewis. Broadbent's involved, a no-look pass and patted on by Batchelor, but behind the back of Burgess. And it's a penalty. Penalty for Hulkingston Rovers.
Yeah, saying Sam Wood was offside. This right edge for Castleford just offside. A nice play again. Mikey Lewis again square, digging into the line, giving Jack Broadbent time. Batchelor couldn't get the ball away, but they're going to have to defend for their lives here. They've got 7 minutes, and if they can get to 30 minutes, Simbakin back on the field and it's still 4-0, that's a result for Castleford.
Well, they're each edging closer again. Whitbread only 5 away, and 5 more plays to come. Litton now switches left. Lewis catches and then skips, and he's taken high quite clearly. So another penalty, and again another tap and go, you'd expect.
Yeah, they're lethal from set pieces. Quite often Elliot Minchella's organising these plays. Just slightly slipped up, slightly high on Mikey Lewis. Elliot Minchella just orchestrates these plays so well, just nudging his middles around, waiting for a side to get the numbers wrong, and especially with a naive fullback, that's what he's looking for.
Tanganoa on the field with all his athleticism, and here comes Whitbread, who slipped past 1, but 3 ready and waiting. But the test is on here. Litton to Lewis. Morg's joining in, and Tanganoa's trying to make mincemeat of anyone who threatens to stand in his way. Litton, this is Morg, and Whitbread almost striding through, but Kane Robb with a wonderful tackle round his ankles to stop his glory run. Back to this left-hand side, out to Burgess, and a little shot of speed to get himself on the outside. Well, classic finishing from Joe Burgess. What was it, 4 last week? Certainly 3. And he's up and running with 2 today.
Yeah, it's difficult to defend against Hull KR when you've got a full complement in the defensive line. Well, obviously, Simbakin in the bin, they're down 1 man. And that makes those spaces feel uncomfortable. Willie Peters knows that's good execution from his side. They're just a little bit flat at Hull KR. It's a big tackle from Kane Robb. We thought that had solved the problem, but it just delayed it 1 play. Because once Morg and Broadbent got organised and into shape, it was too easy in the end for Joe Burgess. He can finish in tighter situations than that. Finished very well. It's actually about Jack Broadbent, this. He just sometimes neglects giving someone early ball, the power of it. Puts the ball in Joe Burgess's hands early enough, and he's got the speed and the strength and the guile to finish.
Well, it was 4 last week, but I think they all came off the boot of Mikey Lewis last week.
It was repeat, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But I was making a point about the Roosters. Watched the Sydney Roosters and the Dolphins this morning. Having wingers who are kick targets is incredibly important, and Mikey Lewis has got that, hasn't he? Tom Davis one side, Joe Burgess the other. But he'll take a running try all day, won't he?
Yeah, Arthur Morg's kick target is the big H's that he's aiming for here. Missed one so far in this howling gale as depicted by John Wilkin. Here he comes, settles back, and he's found the target this time, and the flags are in no uncertain terms, and 10 points to 0. Holkingster Rovers now lead the game.
I maintain there's a lot of flags moving very aggressively right to left, knocking around. But it's great from OKR. As I said, they've just started to move with more intensity with the ball. I felt they were a little flat. You know, I've noticed them looking a little bit tired, not being quite as intense when they have possession. Maybe over the last 3 or 4 weeks, the break maybe done them an incredible amount of good, but moving at full tilt there.
Big kick downfield, didn't fly too far despite that wind. And Holkingster Rovers have it back again, 15 from their own line. Here's Lytton. Just looking for ground to be gained again here. And a penalty. Penalty for OKR.
Just Kane Robb just trying to do too much. He lost the initial contact, and when you lose that initial contact, you lose the right to try and wrestle. It's the first time we've seen Castleford down the other end of the field, and it was after conceding a try and kicking off. OKR now just romping into the Castleford half.
Lewis. Bit of reading going on there from Robb to try and close him down, but Lewis danced away, and eventually it's going to have to be Stimson who puts the brakes on Mikey Lewis. He's just a little slow to his feet again. Minchella and Morg, and here's Tanginoa. It's just a taste of what else is to come this weekend, and then next weekend. My goodness, it keeps rolling on. Forward pass to Hiku, so Castleford will get it back, and a little bit of self-congratulation going on amongst those Castleford defenders.
Yeah, I think Castleford had, in the main, a good defensive day. Obviously, the Simbican incident is massive, just in terms of being able to deal with OKR's shape. But they've had a good tackling day. They've made a lot of tackles, not missed many. Willie Peters has just mouthed the words, "That's not forward." The officials think it was. It's a line ball, wasn't it? It's a great line from Hiku, actually, running off Lytton. Lytton loves to get past the markers. He jumps out of dummy half and gets past the markers, and then once nines do that, defences just sit on the heels. It's dangerous, but adjudged to be forward.
So Castleford again, looking to climb into their opponent's half. They've not had many play the balls inside Holkingster Rovers territory. Robb. Griffin. George Griffin. Relatively recent arrival from the interchange bench. Robb, and now Westerman looking to hold off Minchella and Batchelor and maybe flick it on, but he can't do so. So it's back with Kane Robb again. Amon wants to size them up and take them on. 1 to play, not long now before Cass are back to the full complement of 13, by the way. Simbican due back from the Simbin soon. The kick is high. Oh, it's taken brilliantly by Mellor. Whoa! Well, Jack Broadbent had his pockets picked in midair, and Alex Mellor, the Cass skipper, leaping the highest, and Castleford have points on the board.
Yeah, Chris Chester will just be delighted with that. Probably unlucky to be 10-0 down. Dealing with having one player off the field. Look, that's exceptional from Castleford and just what they needed. They've not had any opportunities, Dave. They maybe created one half break. It's an accurate kick from Dejan Arce. And do you know what? This is just about effort and will. And it's a great chase, isn't it, from Mellor? And out jumps Broadbent.
Is there an element of offside to that? Is Mellor slightly ahead?
It's very tight. It's hard to judge from this angle. I felt live he was onside. Broadbent just doesn't pick Mellor, and Mellor jumps over the top of him. It's so hard when you're stationary to have an eye on the chase and an eye on the ball. And Broadbent, as you said, has had his pockets picked by Mellor.
Well, it would be churlish to deny Castleford a try because of the effort they put into this game so far. Always likely to come off second best at the end of it, but my goodness, there is a case for going out down fighting, and they are at the moment. And maybe they've got an even bigger punch to deliver as well, because now they're back within 4 points. 10 points to 6 with half an hour played, and I don't think many outside Cass would have predicted this scoreline.
Not when you add in the yellow card into that mix as well. It's a great kick from RC. What a jump. Excellent take from Mellor. As I said, he's been consistent in difficult circumstances for Castleford. But 10-6, you know, it's a great result for Castleford considering all that's gone on.
Jeremiah Simickin, as you saw there, back on the field, so Castleford back to their full 13. And the damage hasn't been too bad while Simickin's been off the field. One try conceded, but one try scored in that period. And they're after some more here as well. This is... he's gone down. And down this blind side comes Josh Sim, who suddenly spotted that there was a gap there, but Batchelor recovering Hawkinson Rovers' embarrassment quickly. Simberkin pushing on again. Kane Robb wants to get this on and going as quickly as he possibly can. Westerman now. In the face of that advancing Hawkinson Rovers line, Amon will take it in. But they're on the last, again inside their own half. Again, it's a kick for distance. A kick to try and put pressure on with the chase rather than anything else here. But that's a brilliant kick. That is, well, he's unlucky there, Isasi, that's bounced out of play, because that was causing Broadbent all kinds of problems.
Broadbent just stuck his foot out as well. He tried to trap it, so desperately unlucky for Castleford. Just not sure where it's going, just has a nibble at it, misses it.
If he'd have trapped that, my goodness.
Cristiano Ronaldo would have been happy trapping that.
He'd been on a multi-million-pound contract in the Premier League, wouldn't he? But anyway.
I think it might take more than that, Dave, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's probably on a multi-million-pound contract in Super League anyway, so who needs football? Hawkinson Rovers with Minchella, and just drifting past Mellor, and took Griffin's efforts to stop him. Minchella's claiming there was a second effort there. The referee said get up and get on with it. Batchelor. Cross comes Simberkin, who's got a bit of work to do to make up for his absence. Just a little bit of a tug there, wasn't there? But anyway.
It's a flamboyant dive.
Martin. And Lewis. And Whitbread just swarmed around by defenders before he felt comfortable to get the ball out. Oh, that's not the cleanest of play the balls, I tell you, and the referee spotted that. It was a terrible play the ball. Cass will have it back. I tell you what, this is a day when Hull KR are not having their own way.
It's not the story that Willie Peters would have written about the first half. I think he would be more than comfortable being patient and just trying to build some pressure and get into that big game mindset. But there's been a few penalties and a few errors, and do you know what? Cass have turned up there.
Oh, well, talk about play the balls that went wrong. Kane Robb is beaten to that with a dive of Minchella, and then OKR have knocked it on.
Yeah, I think we might see a reversal of the decision.
Knocked down by Hull KR, and a Castleford scrum is what the touch judge on the far side is telling the referee.
Time off. What's the captain's challenge coming?
Captain's challenge is coming. So the touch judge on the far side said it was quite clearly a knock-on. So here's the challenge.
Challenging the on-field ruling of a knock-on. It's the knock-on.
Okay, we have a captain's challenge from Hull KR. They're challenging the ruling of a knock-on. So we can play from this point. Rob picks up clean. Minchella takes the arm, so we can actually play on from this point. See what happens here. Just check that the ball's picked up clean there. Okay, and then he dives on the ball. Okay, thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, it's going to be another successful challenge here. It was a touch judge on the far side who made the call, and from the distance thought that the ball had the hand had touched the ball, but it's the hand on the arm, isn't it? So, okay, I do get it back again.
Yeah, I think it's fine. The call, I'm happy with the call from the touch judge, Tara Jones there. Big effort from Minchella, wasn't it? Just to reach round, disrupt Kane Robb and win his team the ball back.
So after all of that, a couple of knock-ons on either side, and that little moment, Hulkingston Rovers have possession back again and a chance to have a go in Tanginoa, who is explosive, isn't he, very often when he comes on from that interchange bench. Litton, Minchella back to Lewis. From deep comes Broadbent. Here's Batchelor, but there are plenty of Castleford players in the frame. Burgess. Broadbent again. On its way to Lewis. Minchella changes the direction and the angle of the attack. But there's no change in the intent and the success of the Castleford defence. Oh, there goes Litton out of dummy half. Everybody switched off behind the rock. Litton spotted that brilliantly and takes advantage to score the third try for the Robins of the day.
It's great instincts out of dummy half from Jez Litton. Both of his halves had set up so wide. Artemorg on the right, Mikey Lewis on the left. And that width just created panic in the Castleford middle defenders. They knew they were going to have to get to somewhere where they weren't and get there very quickly. Willie Peters knows whenever there's an opportunity around the ruck, this man, Jez Litton, is lethal at taking them. He spotted an overchase from Castleford, and I think it's Griffin just gets done on his inside. He's just petrified about the threat of the width of the whole car attack. He's thinking about his job and gets beat on that inside shoulder. It's difficult to defend when you've got so many threats, but you need to deal with the threat that is directly in front of you and deal with the ball first, and that's what Griffin didn't do.
You'd imagine Jez Litton would want to play 80 minutes every game, wouldn't you, and have more minutes, but what a combination they've got in terms of McAlorum and then Litton in that number 9 role.
Yeah, well, we spoke last night at the game between Warrington and Wigan, Brad O'Neill and Danny Walker. Between them, you've got a nice blend and combination of two different styles of 9. Well, Hull have got that in their squad. Nicky Mack, abrasive, aggressive, disciplined, and then Jez, who's just exciting.
And Morg sticks it over, and it's 16 points to 6.
And I think it's a bit unfair to actually pigeonhole maybe Jez Litton as just a runner, just a creative threat. You're right, he can play 80 minutes, he can do it tough through the middle as well. But being able to do that, break games open, create uncertainty between our defenders and around that ruck is Jez Litton's specialty. And he's had an exceptional year, and I think learnt an awful lot off Mickey McLaurin as well.
So Assey with the restart, and Hulkingston Rovers get it back. Not long on the field, Sam Luckley. Lytton again, still heart pumping, I'm sure, after what he's done. It's a high tackle as Davies brings it forward. And another penalty here for Hockeyar, and straight away from the restart, more or less, they are going to be in an attacking position here.
Yeah, Stimson's gassed here. He's looking tired. He had his hands on his hips for a couple of minutes just, and he just gets caught lazy again. You've just got to keep moving your feet on players like Davis and Burgess when they carry, reaching, and it'd be devastating, wouldn't it, for Castleford if Ulkar landed another punch here.
Luckley with a settler. Lytton from dummy half again. Minchella involving himself once more, and Tanginoa comes crashing in. Anybody at the heart for the fight? Well, they certainly needed it when he was carrying it at that pace. Lewis again. It's a deep running outside 3, but it's gone short. Castleford deal with the imminent danger, but there's more to come. Luckley, is this his 3rd carry in the set? Oh, and he's got an offload as well. And Lytton looking to expose them on that right-hand side. Morg's hands are quick. Tanginoa, well, I think he's short, is he? It's probably a question of a double movement here as well.
Tackle free, Rushy. I've got no try and field. Just checking grounding, please.
Well, there you go. No trying to field, checking the grounding. So let's hear from the video referee again, Liam Rush.
Okay, it's tackle 3. We've got an on-field decision of no try. We're checking the grounding. Okay, so he's in possession there. Okay, does the ball ever get to the ground at that point? So he's short of the line there. And then the Castleford hand is underneath the ball. And then the ball is lost. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, it looked unlikely, and it's proven to be. Tanganoa as close as you can possibly get without actually scoring the try, but again, full marks to that Cas defence, who are showing some fight and spirit when it matters.
Yeah, as I've said about Castleford here, no try. Tanganoa is a real threat, isn't he, Dave? You mentioned him about his power, how punchy he is as a ball carrier, difficult to deal with. When dealing with players like him, you just got to have a strong tackling day. It's just a big legs tackle that just fells him shy of the line. He's looked strong, he's looked powerful, but what I've really liked about Castleford is how many times they've come up with big tackles, desperate tackles, and that shows some character in a team that's had it tough all year.
So a minute to go in the first half. Castleford content with the fact they've got the ball in their hands. They should see this set out and see themselves through to half-time, trailing by just the 6 points to 16. Rob. Simbikin. Kane Rob again. Ramon will carry, but not for too far. Couple of plays. Inside for Griffin.
Good pressure from Luckley. Could have easily clocked off there, Sam Luckley. Picked the pass from Westerman.
So the last play, and they're running it here, and Windley, well, he's going down with ball in hand. But I don't think it matters too much anyway, because the hooter sounds in the background. To end what has been a fascinating first half. Castleford coming here beleaguered and without real depth in their squad because of injuries. And the expectation was that Hull KR win this and win big. But at the moment, Castleford are giving a dig, and they are staying in the contest at half-time. Hull Kingston Rovers leading by 16 points to 6. Lots to admire from both sides. And we'll be looking back on that first half and assessing some of those moments in just a few moments' time.
Final and the grand final and big knockout games. Hull KR yet to get over the top of Wigan. Now, next week's important for the league leaders, and it's a chance for Hull KR to really seal that. The concern is if they can't get that done, does that become a mental barrier for them?
Yeah.
It's a big game, huge game in the context of the season, and Hull KR's fortunes this season as well.
But it does not distract us from the focus of the next 40 minutes. Castleford doing well here in the context of where their season has been so far. But Hull Kingston Rovers, with that latest try from Jez Litton in the first half, might just have settled them. They'll be looking to pile on the points in the second half as well. We're not good enough, you'd have thought. You'd also suspect that Willie Peters is also already furious that they've conceded points here today, because he's a coach who likes to see them push the button at both ends.
If you're going to concede points, though, off kicks is almost the most palatable way. You know, structurally not being broken down. Teams having to kick to break you down. Two good defensive performances in the first half in the main. Castleford just looking a little bit shaky, a little bit more inexperienced, as you'd expect, but loads of desperation from them.
Here's Martin, the referee. I think he's playing a bit of an advantage here, is he? He's, yep, he is. He saw a penalty there. Just decided to see if Hull KR could make something of it without the penalty being given, and decided that wasn't the case, and so for the high tackle, Hull KR get the penalty.
Yeah, as Reece Martin just got clipped a little bit high by Kane Robb as he comes back to the inside. Just makes a mild contact with his chin. But these are the positions Hull KR thrive in. Sort of midfield, set starts. Often, if not coming up with points, just being penned down on the Castleford line will be the aim here.
There's Minchella, who finds the ground just inside the Castleford half. Lewis now helps it on its way, and Hadley will throw the dummy and then try to push those defenders back as far as he can. Good meters after contact from his point of view. Litton exposing this blind side, and Tanginoa running hard as well at the back of the Morg pass. 3 plays to go and only just over 10 meters to cover here. Hiku back to Litton, and now Morg. Luckley's going to be held up only just inside the 10. Cass slowing it down, getting into the ground. But the Robins come again. Lewis, oh, and again a short one, and Tanginoa just finds himself in a forest of limbs and bodies that he can't burst through. So on the last, Litton goes blind, Moore goes on to Hiku, and you get the impression Hockey are quite happy to give the ball up right there.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 out, 5 in from the sideline. This gives you the chance to just get tight and get aggressive. Chris Chester knows these spots are incredibly difficult to get out against most sides, but this is meat and drink for Hull KR.
There is some line speed here, isn't there, from the Robins defence?
It's not just that, it's dual contact and then 3 into the tackle. That's what is impressive about the discipline of Hull KR. Dual contact, 3rd person in, add some weight, and it's just slow.
Cass are struggling to get away from danger territory. 2 plays to go. Averaging just over 5 meters a carry at the moment. They go for the kick in the end, and Burgess is well back for that and ready for that, and will return it. And the Robins looking to start inside their opponent's half here again, as Sam Wood makes an important tackle.
It's a big tackle, wasn't it? Because Burgess, Mikey Lucy just wheeled round behind the ball and was asking for a ball of Burgess. Had Wood been beaten there, it was a definite try. Great desperation once again.
This is Davis, and look where they are again. Again, 3 to go, and inside the 20. Litton left, Broadbent involved. Bodies across there, ball goes to ground. It's dropped on by Wood. The referee says no handling error from Cass, and so they get it back again, close to their own line.
Yeah, just a fumble from Broadbent in contact. If I was to critique Hull KR's attack in any way, shape or form today, I felt like it's just been a little bit flat. I'm not talking in terms of energy, I'm talking in terms of depth. Quite often ambling onto the ball. Minchella, who we used to see ripping onto the ball, almost been walking onto the ball. Anytime they've ran with pace, it's been dangerous. Trying to see more intensity when they have the ball in hand.
There's Assey, Westerman. They'll enjoy the contest they're being given here by Cass, won't they? Because there was a danger of going from Salford, which was an easy win. If they got another easy win here today, and then they're suddenly into the teeth of the storm of a Wigan match, whereas Wigan have had that big battle against Warrington, and so are battle-hardened. Cass will enjoy the fact they've been tested.
Yeah, absolutely. What Hull KR need to be desperately careful of here is they can play very conservatively, but if they don't get away from Cass here, a try for Castleford, Dave, changes the complexion of everything. You know, you get a bit nervy. Wigan are now on your coattails. You just want to get another score, a bit more breathing space away from Cass.
Davis, apologies if he picked any language up there from the referee's mic. Wasn't the ref, it was one of the players, Tomomo. Martin, and just trying to pop Hadley through a gap that, if it was there, closed up quickly. Litton, Minchella, back to Lewis again. Batchelor wants it, eager. Mikey Lewis measuring himself here for the kick, puts it back towards the right corner as Castleford defend. Burgess up there, got hands on it, went to ground, and he drops on it, and it's a clear knock-on.
Yeah, knock on there from Joe Burgess. Again, kick target for Mikey Lewis quite often. This is where they actually missed Tyrone May, because look, although Mikey Lewis kicks for Joe Burgess and he got 4 tries from this tactic last week, that's quite often Tyrone May. Tyrone May's timing onto Mikey Lewis's kicks, he'll be really missed in that regard. Joe Burgess coming up with the error, but it's copy and paste, isn't it? Castleford coming out from within just meters of their own try line, having to find a way to get out. They need an error, defensive error from Hull KR, a penalty, just to give them chance to get away.
They've signed Milnes this week from Castleford, which is why Milnes is not playing for Cass, but he's not allowed to play for Hull KR today. It'll be interesting to see whether he slots in in the halves next week, or whether they go with something similar to what they've got here today.
Yeah, I think Arthur Morg and Mike Lewis have combined well. If anything, like I said, the depth of their attack has just felt a little bit flat.
Well, that's a ball that's lost. Yeah, Ramon might go for a challenge here.
Challenge is kind of a knock on.
Yep, he's going for a challenge, claiming it's a ball steal. See, the referee explains it. Let's hear from the video ref.
Captain challenge from Castleford. They're challenging the off-field call of a knock-on.
Okay, we have a captain's challenge. Castleford are challenging the on-field ruling of a knock-on. So play it through here. So Hadley's hand is on the ball. And there's a clear flick away of the wrist there that pulls the ball out. Causes the ball to come out. You can see there the clear pull and flick of the fingers and the wrist. And the ball comes out. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, with unusual circumstances, I think that's 3 successful challenges today, isn't it?
Yeah, clear hand on the ball. He's been challenged, heavily strapped fingers, just reef away at the ball. It's a great challenge from Tom Amon.
Well, that's at least 3. Where the referee gives one decision and players on the field suspect he's got it wrong.
The giveaway often is how the ball comes out. The fact it's spun and came out at speed usually means there's been a hand on there. So
Yeah.
James Fisher-Harris for the Warriors this morning, very similar situation in the rain.
And the referee's looking at that. He wouldn't have been able to see the hand. He's seeing the ball fall and suspects it's been lost, doesn't he? Because it's just a fall rather than the ball coming out at speed.
Nearly missed touch again here, Dave.
So Castleford looking to provide another counter-punch here. Griffin looking to set the platform. Well, if they can score, my goodness, that puts the cat amongst the pigeons. Or the robins amongst the tigers, whichever analogy you'd like.
Cass amongst the robins. Fine, let's leave it. Carry on.
Yeah. Westerman hopping on one leg, finding a decent position again. Lawler in at dummy half, giving Kane Robb a bit of a break in that position as he puts it back, and a big push again from Hodgson. Senior wants it, gets it, and head down goes for the line, and he's got that. Well, the referee backs back. It looked as though he was going to give it outright.
Big call.
But we're going for the screen.
Just confirm there's no knock on, please.
Try on the field, and Lewis Senior, my goodness, if he scores this. Let's hear from the video ref again.
Just check the ball doesn't come off the hand onto the arm.
Okay, it's tackle 4. We have on-field decision of try. We're just checking that he maintains possession and then checking the grounding. So we can go forward from this point. He's in possession. He's still in possession. Going towards the ground. There is separation there from the hand and fingers, so he then needs to catch hold and re-grip, which he does not do. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, the Cass fans in amongst the crowd cheering there because they're watching that on the big screen from a distance and thinking this is going to be given, but as we hear, it isn't. It is going to be ruled out. Wait for the response. And the bigger cheer is from the Robins fans when they see their side survive, but there's a big wake-up call for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah, it's what I said that was dangerous about how they were playing it. Not far enough ahead of Cass to just put the cue on the rack and almost be conservative, and Senior just, it says the separation. I know he loses grip with his fingers, downward pressure with the forearm all the way through, but anyway, look, that's a warning sign, isn't it, for Willie Peters, and a warning sign for Hull.
Hicker with a carry. The Robins know They're not quite within striking distance as Castleford come at them, but that, if that had been given, would have made things very jittery. So now they maybe step up in intensity again as Litton and Lawler comes across with a challenge that the home fans weren't happy with, but everyone else seems content. Chella back on the inside again. Now they're edging closer. Luckily, eventually, is stopped. Minchella and now Hadley. One play to go. Hulkingston Rovers 20 metres out. What do they conjure here? Back to Artie Morg again in that half-back's role. The kick is high. Mikey Lewis is after this, but Jensen Windley just patrols that danger adequately enough. Well, really well done.
Yeah, Windley's had a great game. I think he's been really tidy, done a lot of things very well. Combined with the two Castleford halves, well, positionally been good for a naive player in a position he's just not used to. Really tidy performance. And maintain. Castleford have struggled with this all game, just getting away from their goalposts.
Oh, there's an injury here. Sam Wood stays on the ground. The Rovers fans, I think, suspecting that he might be milking this to try and get a decision, but he doesn't look good, does he? He doesn't look well here.
Sam luckily gestured to the sideline, or the referee knows whether that gesture was he knew he'd hurt Sam Wood, or that Sam Wood was trying to simulate that he'd been hit in the head.
No concern around. Chris Chester will be a little worried here, does not want to lose a player through injury, although Wood is sitting up now, and he's yeah, I think that's a thumbs up from the physio to say he's okay, is it? Yep. It's a green card. It's a tough old sport, isn't it? Tough old sport. You're brave enough to get up from a heavy knock and play on, and the referee says, well, if you're not going off, I'm going to send you to the sidelines for 2 minutes.
Yeah. We saw one the other night where somebody got poked in the eye and was down in black player. The referee stopped it and then gave him a green card. So, you know, Sam Wood fine to continue. Just needs to get back to his feet if he is.
Lost the ball as well. And so Hulkingston Rovers get possession back. Well, Castleford might have cause for complaint, not against the referee's decision, because that is, you know, it's all legit, isn't it, from what the referee's done here. And Hulkingston Rovers suddenly given a point of attack to go again. Litton comes scooting out there, Morg takes it on, and Hiku now puts on the footwork and a bit of pace, and that's a big tackle coming in, dragging him down, Hodgson. Otherwise he was in. Morg back to Litton. Lewis drifting across, there's space here, and Broadbent helps it on its way, and galloping in goes Rhys Martin. It was almost a 3-against-1 attack by the time it was delivered left. Martin's in, and that makes life a lot more comfortable for Hulkingston Rovers.
Yeah, big moment. Sam Wood, green card off the field for 2 minutes. Cas rendered to 12 men once more for the second time in this game. And it's Rhys Martin who capitalises on the left edge for Hull KR. And there was space everywhere, Dave. The Hull KR fans would just be delighted with the sense of relief in the stadium when they score is palpable. It's just simple ball movement, and Cas are just short of numbers and in all sorts of trouble. It's a simple finish in the end for Rhys Martin. I think they could have scored that. Any one of 4 players could have scored that once Mikey Lewis strips the Castleford defensive line for numbers. It's Martin who gets the try. But that's all about Sam Wood being off the field, Dave, isn't it? Mikey showing good awareness just to get the ball where it needed to at the right time.
It is cruel, isn't it, the green card? I mean, necessary to stop people milking situations, but sometimes, I mean, I don't think he was milking that, was he?
No, but you know, in the main, it's been a positive, hasn't it? The application of it's been a positive.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's certainly not seen as many people stare down like that.
The phrase you often use, the law of unintended consequences sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunate for Castleford. Great performance. A lot to take from this performance here at the Sewell Group Craven Park.
Artem Ork settles, tough kick this from that touchline, and that does get caught up in the wind.
You're reluctant to accept the strength of the breeze, Dave, and I don't know why. It's confusing me. But that's breathing space now. 3 scores ahead, sorry, for Hull KR. Mikey Lewis just an expert at finding space, and Broadbent and Martin on the end of it. But Cast short for numbers and short on experience.
Well, you can't see this at home, but John Wilkin has been judging his wind speed on the windmills in the distance and how fast they're moving. One of the windmills isn't even running, isn't even moving. Oh, well, that was a clever piece of work from Burgess. And Ariba Doro is on the field.
Oh, he did so well, did Burgess. But just the awareness of where the dead ball line was. Just tiny steps and gets Doro the ball. Big play. He's had a great year, hasn't he, Joe Burgess? Oh,
look at
wow.
that. Oh, how was that not a forward pass? Anyway, Hulkington Rovers do have it safely back again and do seem to have an intention here to push this one home still further. Their defence this year has been remarkable. 198 points conceded in this, their 21st game. So they're going at just about 9, certainly under 10 points a match. And in scoring, they're averaging 33 points a game. So they'll be looking to get up towards that average mark again here. Trapping Castleford back in their own half.
Yeah, and whilst this hasn't been vintage Hull KR, has it? There's been a lot of their trademark DNA all over the performance. I spoke at length about their defensive processing. You know, there's a lot of people say they're defensive minded. Willie Peters and his team can, without doubt, unequivocally say that they are. They put so much emphasis on the defence. So only 9 points a game average. They've only conceded 1 try here through a kick. So difficult to break down.
Cass loading up this blind side. Mellor. Now it's back to the middle. I see here's the relatively new signing, Joe Stimson. But halfway reached, but 5 plays to get there. So on at the last, Arce again. Doro trying to get to him, but Arce sticks it very high. And a good chase as well from Simbican. Timed to perfection.
Yeah, it was well timed, and a good take from Jack Broadbent. Tom Davis does an incredible amount of work, doesn't he? Dave, he gets through so much dirty work. It's a good take from Broadbent.
Batchelor battering it forward. What price are 2 Batchelor brothers being involved in a grand final? Hulkington Rovers and St Helens, who knows? This is Burgess, who's advanced beyond the halfway line, but again Hulkington Rovers have run out of room, run out of tackles. So Lewis with a kick. Windley taken in. Solid response.
Great contact from Reece Martin and Mikey Lewis. Again, dual contact. Again, numbers in the ruck. Again, slow play the ball.
Oh, they're just trying to work their way out here if they can. But Cass, well, they've had plenty of this work to do, haven't they? This type of position they've found themselves in so often. Lawler to Singleton, and a good offload, and Simbican. But cheer for the Hull KR fans. He's not their favourite, given what he did to Mikey Lewis in the first half, and the fact that he was slow to pick himself up has encouraged those Hulkington Rovers supporters to offer him even less sympathy. He's now down getting a bit of treatment, you can see at the top of your screen, which has led to another Robbins cheer.
Yeah, they're still wound up by the Mikey Lewis incident that saw him sin-binned on 20 minutes. It's a big shot from Joe Burgess, and William Minchella gives him a mouthful on the floor.
Yes, he's put that high, and Burgess has done very well and almost steps away, but a good chase again from Mellor. It's a head injury for Jeremiah Simbican, by the way. He's going to go off for an HIA. That's all happening back downfield, and more importantly, well, the referee's now stopping the game because he's seen the doctors come on. And the Rovers fans are loving it. It's pantomime season at Craven Park.
Yeah, Simbican not a popular character here. Big tackle from Burgess, wasn't it? Having another look at it, it's great contact from him.
Well, Jeremiah Simicans arguing about the doctor's assessment here. I think he wanted to carry on, but the doctor's assessment holds sway. As soon as they say you're off, neither player nor coach can change that decision.
Big shot from Burgess.
Whiplash, wasn't it?
Great tackle. Bit of afters on it.
Yeah.
Manchella's incensed, and I can only think that his protective instincts over what happened to Mikey Lewis earlier.
And Mikey Lewis there as well. Suddenly from nowhere.
Well, he's a protected species now, Mikey Lewis. He can pretty much get away with saying what he wants to any big man on the field, knowing he's not going to get knocked out. Privileged times for halfbacks in our competition.
This is Uribe Doro, who's on a scatter of appearances so far this season. Has become a bit of a fan's favourite as well with his big carries forward. One last play. Morg, boot on ball. Windley goes chasing across there, but the bounce will take it away from him, and Wood takes it. Windley now. Here comes Senior. Well, he's got the capability of turning a position like that into something glorious downfield, but not on that occasion. Sim.
Tough finish for Cass, isn't it? It's been a tough year, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wigan round 26. Draw a curtain on what's been a torrid 2025 for the Tigers.
And the kind of the mood music coming out of that club is that there might be nothing left to play for in terms of table position, but there are players here who are playing for their place at Cass next year. Chris Chester drafted in not just to find a coach, but to rebuild a team.
Yeah, and said he's going to create cap space for a coach who comes in. The big decision's the coach, Dave, isn't it? It's the crucial one. Big call to get rid of Danny Maguire, wasn't it? With nothing in place, but let's see how it goes for Castleford.
And as we mentioned earlier, Cass fans, rugby league fans generally, stand by, because we will be asking the question of Chris Chester at the end of this game. Has the new coach been decided on? And if not, what is the timing? Tanginoa. Lytton. Lewis again, they're creating some numbers here, and Burgess does brilliantly well to drag that in. Mikey Lewis is up there in support, and Mikey Lewis, who's certainly played a big hand in creating that, is the man who finishes it as well. Try 22 in all competitions for the Hull Kingston Rovers number 6, and 24-6 is the scoreline now.
Yeah, Olcar's left edge just stripped Castleford's right edge for numbers. And there's one man you don't want to see in the clear, and it's Joe Burgess if you're defending, because he gets away from those chasers so well. And I'll tell you what, Mikey Lewis, he's quicker than he looks. He gets up there with Joe Burgess at such pace. The Castleford right edge is in trouble here, just peddling. Didn't come up with anything. It's a great ball from Broadbent, but look at Mikey Lewis then. Turns the afterburners on. It's a great ball inside. And as all great halfbacks do, instinctively supports after he's passed the ball. Look, releases the ball. Then once this gets into Burgess's hands, in the back play now, Mikey puts the afterburners on just to get up alongside his winger. It's great from Olcar.
As many of you will know, of course, the number 6 shirt retired in honour of the great Roger Millward. Until this season, Mikey Lewis restoring that number 6 shirt, or it's been restored for him, very much with the approval of the Millward family. And we are playing today for the Roger Millward Trophy. There's a lovely silver trophy down on the touchline, number 6, in respect and memory of Roger Millward. He was a Cass lad, of course. He had to leave Castleford because of the Hepworth-Hardesty combination that meant that he couldn't break into that team. And he came to Hull KR and he created a legend.
Yeah, he was. He was tough as well, wasn't he, Dave? Playing him on and hurt in big games. And Mikey Lewis has showed glimpses of that today. He picked up a shoulder injury, didn't he? After the Simbican challenge, he stayed on the field and guided his team to what is an inevitable victory, but 20 minutes left to go here.
What a rich tapestry of talent Castleford have given us down the years. There's Dora. Roger Millward. Knocker Norton was another one, I think, who had to leave Cass to get first team rugby league elsewhere.
The best step in rugby league, Steve Norton.
And a handling game as well. This is Sue.
Will he be happy?
Hiku, what do you reckon?
Don't know. Hard to tell. I think he'll just be wanting to see how his side have responded to having a bit of time off or having a break. Great kick here from Michael Lewis, Dave.
He's been chased by Burgess again, but Windley's back there, and he's done brilliantly well. Brilliantly well. 2 defenders beaten, but then can't get past the third and fourth.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with the way they've defended. Just one try conceded. Alex Mellor out jumping Jack Broadbent on 30 minutes, and apart from that, it's been nearly flawless from Hull KR defensively, hasn't he? I'll be pleased with that. They're going to have to bring that next week. Windley did well once again. And they're going to have to bring that defensive intent to the Brick Community Stadium next week.
Assey kicks. Oh, there is. There we go. There's the £1 million Premier League contract from Broadbent. Told you we had a first touch.
There we go.
Morg and now Davis. Only lost 3 games all season.
Oh, just one,
there we go.
One touch. Stick it in the top corner now, lad.
Davis. Lytton out a dummy half again, and Lewis, as Hulkington Rovers begin to threaten again, and Broadbent striding away from Wood's challenge, spinning around and finding position. Hulkington Rovers are in the mood. There's still 18 minutes left to play. They fancy putting this score beyond any kind of doubt whatsoever. 1 to go. Lytton collects. Just a big charge from Sue. Again, content to give the ball back to their opponents right there, knowing that they can dominate them in defence in this next 6 challenges.
And they're looking tired now with the Castleford Tigers. Swasasu hands the ball over. It's just a metre out from the line. And Cass just taking a minute here, having a breath. And it's a relentless onslaught from Hull KR, especially in these parts of the field, deep into territory. And just so consistent defensively. That's why they're at the top of the table. You can attack well, but you've got to defend well. To win the League Leaders' Shield, you've got to be a great defensive side, and that's exactly what Willie Peters has got.
Well, Wigan had a clean sweep last year of all the trophies, didn't they? And Hulkington Rovers in position this year for a potential clean sweep. Challenge Cup already in the trophy cabinet after that dramatic 8-6 win at Wembley against Warrington. That's miscommunicated, out of play. League Leaders' Shield is tantalisingly close, but then there's a grand final to come if they're going to make it, and there'll be plenty standing in the way ahead of that.
Yeah, it's just a great pressure, isn't it, from the inside of the line. That forces and scrutinises Castleford's skill. It's easy to look at the sloppy skill there, but Willie Peters will be delighted with 64 minutes into a game that his middles are working so hard to apply some pressure to Castleford. As we said, next week it's the acid test for Hull KR. You know, they've got to produce a performance against Wigan, you feel. Well, Wigan will be, I think, upset at how they've gone from being champions of everything to almost not being talked about at times.
Here's Broadbent. We'll have a look. Once we've got through this, we'll have a look at Hull KR's closing fixtures of the season. I tell you what, there are some big tests for them, not just next week. All the way through to the last game of the season, there is a challenge. Lewis stops and turns, and Lawler grabs a hold, and here comes Lytton. Well, there's a chance here. Morg dancing around and going and finding a route through. And Arthur Morg in to score. takes the Robins up to 30.
Excellent footwork, wasn't it? Great footwork from Martin Morg. I always felt when he was at Catalan he was so dangerous in these tight areas where he could use that footwork, but really developed, I think, under Willie Peters. Certainly at fullback. Out of position for him today, playing at halfback, but showing how dangerous he is, especially against tiring defenders. That footwork and explosive speed off the mark is incredibly dangerous.
Well, with 15 minutes still to play, this could still be a bit of a blowout, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. And him just going back, he catches Lawler. Lawler and Mellor. Catches Mellor first, beats Mellor hands down, and then the second step beats everybody. It's tidy from Artur Morg. It's a lovely finish from him.
Looking to add the 2 as well. I mean, that's another thing he's brought here, hasn't he? The ability to bang over the goals. Last season, that was Robins' Achilles heel. Martin signed to cure that, but Morg has taken over this role to take Hulkingston Rovers to a 32 points to 6 lead. And we were talking about those fixtures, and this is what the run-in is like here. That 4-point gap at the top of the table might be important, because Wigan next week, a lead side who are looking for maybe top 2 finish, St Helens, who are very much in form, Hull FC, well, local rivals anyway, but could be fighting for top 6.
They're going to be battle-hardened, aren't they?
And Wakefield away as well.
Yeah, that's why round 22 is massive. If they get rolled by Wigan, I think that League Leaders' Shield is well and truly up for grabs once more.
The one we didn't see as well was Warrington. They got Warrington. Oh, Uribe Doro, here he comes, crowd pleaser. That's what they love about him. Warrington on the last day, and who knows, Warrington might still have something to play for as well. So there are no gimmies for Hulkingston Rovers between now and the playoffs.
There's no harder running than that, is there?
No, no.
Doro doing Doro things.
It's with Lewis. Broadbent. Everything's closed down by the effort of Wood. Does well. Lewis picks up again. Martin's over there. Batchelor's travelling with him, but decent defensive effort. Westerman with a tackle. 1 play to go. Cass need to defend it. Mikey Lewis sticks it high. It could be too broad. It's too long. Too long. Caught in the in goal. So tap back on the 20.
Yeah, poor kick there from Mikey.
Was that into the wind or against the wind, John?
I think the wind's changed, Dave. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, well done, well dealt with. Wasn't it from Windley? Poor kick from Mikey, though. That's the area of his game where he's just improved so much. He's just really developed into just a fantastic tactical kicker of the ball.
Louis Mustafa. Amon taking it on a stride or two. Just about finding the heady heights of the opposition half again. Cass have been starved of this kind of position for most of the game. And it came off a leg, but straight into the hands of Petter Hiku.
Yeah, it's just getting loose from Castleford, isn't it? Both sides of the ball, both defensively and just forcing things. They played with such patience in that first half. Rightly so, chasing the game, but this could get messy for them if they keep gifting Hull KR possession like this.
Minchella's gone off, by the way, and it's Whitbread who's come on in his place in the latest interchange. There he is, and here's Tanginoa. Looking to burst again, still providing a handful for those Castleford defenders. Loading up the numbers on this blind side once more. Morg there switches it back towards the middle. The pass is not the best. Sue picks up, spins away from Rob. Now Lewis trying to make something out of this. Ducks under the high challenge from Rob. Just goes direct for the line, tries the offload. Loses it. And it will be Cassie's ball back again.
It's a little goose step there from Mikey Lewis. Spotted the gap and just put the little goose step on, went for it. It's so funny how often a loose pass back to the middle of the field just puts defenders on the back foot. Here he goes. Bumf takes it on. I think that's one of the things with Mike is he tries to force the offload. It's not just his speed, it's his strength into contact. Drives through challenges so often.
He's past the HIA, I think that's the information we're getting. So Simicon will be able to come back onto the field. He didn't want to go off in the first place. There's Wood. Into the final 10 minutes. Hull KR's average win this season is 33 points to 10, so this is very much their norm. 32 points to 6.
Great contact there from Suasa Su.
Amon. Kane Robb clapping the hands, wants to get on with it as quickly as he possibly can, and well, his Mustafa will take it forward stoutly again. Simicon back on the field, having passed the HIA. Assi. And on to the last. Windley puts it high. Burgess underneath it. Always favourite to take that, and there's just a little bit of pocket of space ahead of him as well, and he invites Davis to have a run. Tom Davis on the cusp of a landmark as well. 99 Super League tries so far in his career. Won't be long before he reaches a century, maybe not today. This is Morg. McAlorum. Whitbread wants a carry. Back to Lewis. Broad bent, and a take by Batchelor, and just a twist of the body past Sim. Still a couple of plays to go. Lewis. Again, he's gonna trust the footwork to try and eke out an opening. McAlorum, and look at the space here, and Burgess, for a second successive week, has a hat-trick. 4 against Salford, 3 here against Castleford. My goodness, he's filling his boots. He's up to 20 tries for the season, and a third of those have come in the last 2 games.
Yeah, exceptional finisher in difficult situations. Maybe had a couple of his easier finishes here. He's had an awesome year as Joe Burgess, not necessarily just for try scoring. I think his work rate, his effort, the volume of quality stuff that he gets through in an 80-minute performance has been exceptional. It's the left edge of Hull KR that's been so lethal. Mickey McLaurin just picks it, and it's a great floated ball, isn't it, from Jack Broadbent. Burgess dots it down in the corner, but the great work's done. Vision from McLaurin, floated ball from Broadbent. Just catching Castleford defenders. Josh Sim, who was out of position. Such tidy execution. Willie Peters will be happy with how the scoreline's looking now.
More kicking practice for Artyom Morg. Was it 4 out of 6, I think, for him so far today? That, by the way, was Hull KR's 700th point of the season as well. It's not a bad return.
Yeah, the defence is exceptional, and both defence and attack are linked. They're so tightly linked in rugby league. We often speak about them in such separate ways. That exceptional defence just gives them great opportunities with the ball, and vice versa.
Artyom Morg just telling the ball where he wants it to travel. Strikes it. No, it's wide. So 36 points to 6 it remains, with 7 minutes of the match still remaining, and he's just bagged himself a hat-trick.
Yeah, it's great vision. Mickey Mack spots the opportunity, and Broadbent ices the pass, and Casa just in scramble mode. Everything was too quick. All the rucks building up to that too quick. Impossible to get a defensive line set, get numbers to the right parts of the field, and Hull KR lethal at picking opportunities off like that.
Suarez set things in motion again with a kick from the halfway line, and talking about setting things in motion, bang! No self-regard, is there? Just hit that line as hard as you can, and if it hurts somebody, even if it hurts you himself, he ain't too concerned. Sue. Not the finished article, is he, Uribe Dore, by a long way, but my goodness.
It's raw. He's raw and powerful, and there's a place for that. You know, in short stints, he can just create havoc. We see Sam Lasoni over at Leeds have that similar effect. Obviously more experienced than Doro, but there's a place in your squad for players like that who can just be destructive. I think Kalepi Tanganoa's done a good job at that as well. Both him and Doro just carried with such strength and conviction.
Whitbread in, just trying to get the arms free, but they're not letting him do that. So with 1 to go, Kingston Rovers through Morg, kick it high. Lewis is on the change. Mikey Lewis has just been called as onside as he chases that. Solid from McAlorum with a shoulder.
He just leads. He's a leader of the defensive line and line speed. Hunt, she's just pressure from the middle of the field to the sidelines, just forcing people to play early, disrupting attacks just by being gritty and aggressive. And I think there was question marks at the start of the year about him and JWH, about whether they were, you know, past it or what they would bring, and they've just delivered all of that character and attitude and calmness to this Hull KR team.
Windley. Assey. It's a wobble ball towards the touchline, and it's hits Hiku and goes out of play. Yep, Cass get it back again. It was played out. It wasn't ball hits man, it was man hits ball from Petter Hiku. Touch judge just explaining that he was moving towards the ball, so
they're looking for a tidy finish. Final 4 minutes of the game. You know, they'll be proud of that 9-point average, and any time they land under it. You're right, Hiku just gets a touch on it.
So Kane Robb, Castleford winding themselves up to see if they can get some kind of consolation at the end of this tough game they found themselves in here today. As I mentioned earlier, we will be hearing from both coaches, and whoever John Wilkins' selection is as player of the match as well. There's a bit of suspense to hang on for. Lawler now, almost through. Martin does the job. Robb picks up, Arcee's out there, the little grubber kick, but dropped on, bounced on. Kingston Rovers have it back again.
Yeah, great desperation from Batchelor, just scrapping on loose balls. It's a neglected part of the game. Whenever that ball's on the ground, you just want the urgency of your teammates to get on it. Cruz Lehman winning a scrap against Warrington last night. Vital moment. Might not matter here, but in big games they can matter.
Hiku, great footwork again, but doesn't deceive Mustafa too badly because he's the man there to make the tackle. Luckily, wearing a bandage with pride and getting the arm free to bowl it away. Brad has to be careful in picking that up, and is. Last play, and Morg will just go for that angle kick downfield. Windley's done well to reel it in and turn it round and run it back. And the Holborn youngster finds himself stopped by those Hull Kingston Rovers defenders. And while that happens, there's an injury. Alex Mellor, by the looks of it.
Listen, pal, mate, watch what you're doing. Mickey, leave it. Think, Mickey. What are you doing?
Referee asks, what are you doing, in the manner of an English teacher, the disruptive class. But at the halfway line, Mellor is just down getting a bit of treatment.
I think this might be a case of the little fracas. Might be Jensen Windley not quite understanding who he's dealing with in terms of Mickey Mack. I think it's Dejan Arcee, the clash of heads with Mellor. But this is Mickey Mack being Mickey Mack, scrambling around on the floor. Just pushing. Jensen, I wouldn't mess with him.
He would have had fear in his eyes. By the way, Mellor is going off for an HIA. Green card produced, so that's the end of his afternoon. 2 minutes to go, just over. Well, a day of satisfaction, I'm sure, in both coaching boxes, to a certain degree. I mean, he's got the win. They're 4 points clear again. They've done it close to in the style they expected to do it. They don't want to concede anymore. Davis gets back there. Senior, carries it out of play. Unlucky for him.
Yeah, I think both coaches with bits to be pleased about. I think Chris Chester, he's going to go in there, and the new coach are going to dismantle the squad. It's not going to look anything like this. That's the messaging sort of coming out. He'll be pleased with the first half performance, but the second half just shows where they're at. You know, before the season started, I said Castleford, you know, had one of the poorer squads in the competition, and despite Salford, it's sort of played out that way, hasn't it, for them? Both them and Huddersfield down at the bottom would be disappointed with how they've gone this year. But it's a reflection of the quality of player in the team.
There's Tanganoa doing Tanganoa things. Another set of 6, too slow. McAloran to Luckley now, driving it in, first play. 45 seconds to go, so this will be the last set of the afternoon. Hawkinson Rovers looking to crown it with a try. Lewis runs into RC. Lawler's there as well. Not sure they'll have time for the full 4 tackles. Whitbread, Luckley. Platform set. You'd suspect this is the play. They try to break things open, although Whitbread's going down the middle, and Aribe Doro takes it on, and it's lost. And Senior takes a pass. And I'm not sure he's going to get up and play it. Before that, Hooter sounds. Hooter sounds in the background. That will be the end of it. It's a win that Hawkinson Rovers would have demanded as an absolute minimum today, following that cruising victory against Salford last week, with a 36-6 win here against Castleford. 4 points clear of the chasing pack, and they hope a clean bill of health ahead of that big encounter to come next week, and a run-in that looks quite brutal. But full-time Hull KR 36, Castleford 6. There's almost a muted atmosphere here, which tells you where the club's at. Even a win like that is kind of almost par for the course.
Yeah, absolutely. The expectation east side of Hull is huge right now, and rightly so, because they've been so consistent, haven't they, over the past couple of seasons.